What's good, people? It's about that time to randomly relate reverse rants, no hate. So, check this out. As y'all know, I dropped 2 videos in reference to Spence and Terrence Crawford. And I made those videos for the same, but 2 different reasons. All right? If you watch the videos, you should be able to get where I was going with the videos, okay? For anybody who's confused, okay? Bottom line from both videos, overall, the main concern in terms of Terrence Crawford is he needs to make some noise and he needs to step up his game. His promotional team stinks. They suck. They do nothing for him. But he doesn't promote himself either. We're still stuck on a video that Spence did 2 years ago, 3 years ago, whatever it was. The whole point in that is, look, it's not like it was a leaked video. It's not like they were talking, they didn't know the camera was running. They standing in front of a camera. What Spence said, he said in front of the whole world. He didn't say it like, oh shit, I didn't know that camera was there. No. He clearly said, why not take the easy route and fight Shawn Porter? Okay. Right now, this video's all over the place. PBC guys, LDBC guys, they're saying that Shawn Porter is challenging Terrence Crawford. Okay, great. He needs that challenge. But you see, the thing is, every one of those channels have the same thing in common. They're making it as if Shawn Porter's chasing Terrence Crawford. Like Terrence Crawford don't want to fight him. Look, I clearly said, plain and simple, Spence is on some ego shit right now. Like, motherfucker, I don't need you. You need me. Or you need me more than I need you. That's what I see him at. Okay, and basically everything that they did to Spence, like when he was calling out Keith Thurman, when he was calling out Shawn Porter, when he was calling out Danny Garcia and all these guys, Terrence Crawford wasn't even in the 147 division at the time. So when he did come, and everybody was telling Spence, go get a belt first. He got a belt. You understand what I'm saying? And it was the same type of thing. So now he's doing the same thing to Terrence Crawford. We all saw it. It's nothing new. Okay? The problem is, if you stuck on what happened before instead of going forward, to keep bringing up what Spence did or what he said or what Terrence Crawford, they both have had times where they could have fought certain fighters, but they chose to go a different route. Both of them. Both of them. Okay? And as far as fighters calling fighters out, what does that mean when somebody says, I want to fight this guy? I told him I wanted to fight him. Billy Joe Saunders and Demetrius Andre have been doing this shit for like 3-4 years now. But who is getting the fight with Canelo? Billy Joe Saunders. You understand what I'm saying? So, what does it mean because you say something? Sending contracts is 2 different things. So, whenever they have a date set, a venue, with all that, yeah, guess what? We're making this happen. Not sitting up on a video calling each other bitches and punks and I do this to you, I knock you. That don't mean jack spit. So what I would suggest, like for me, I'm looking at Terrence Crawford like this, man. You know what? All these fighters got each other's numbers and they at some point get in contact. Well, you know what I would do? I'd FaceTime these dudes. Like, look, just imagine this. Yo, Shawn, I want to fight. I want to fight you. All right, so this is what we coming up with financially. We're gonna send a contract to you. This is what we offer. Let's make it happen. Let's be reasonable. Let's do what we can to make this fight happen. You know what I'm saying? It's about money, but it's also about legacy. You understand what I'm saying? And I think we both need this. I definitely want the fight. I want to fight you. I'm offering you a contract, and I want to fight you. What excuse could these guys have for not wanting to fight him? Even like with Keith Thurman saying he wanted 10. Now, I heard that. I don't know if he actually asked for 10, but regardless, I've heard that. Imagine him saying, Keith, listen, you don't have a title. I do. Okay, let's negotiate the best way we can. Look, you want the fight or what, man? If it's about money, then say that then. Because it's about legacy for me, and I want to fight you. Now, we're not offering 10, but we offering 5. Or 3, or whatever the fuck, right? I'm just saying, if Keith Thurman feels like, he's worth more. He just got his ass beat by Pacquiao. Now, let's not forget, this was after the Pacquiao fight. So, think about it, right? How you going to get your ass kicked, get your title taken, and then demand, I want this? Well, to me, and I would tell him, to me, you trying to price yourself out because you really don't want the fight. I'm trying to make this happen. I'm telling you, no, we're not giving you 10. At the same time, man, you win, the ball is in your court. Then you call the shots. So let's make it a 2-fight deal. See, you got to be on your shit, man. Because you see what Terrence Crawford has is fans that will vouch for him that the fighters are ducking him. This is what he has. That doesn't mean anything. Only thing that does is satisfy your fan base that, hey, you're not the one ducking, they are. PBC fighters have a bunch of biased motherfuckers behind them that anything that they do, they want to control the narrative of what everybody else believes. They have the machine behind them to promote each other. Now, if Terrence Crawford was a PBC fighter, don't you think it would be easier to make those fights? But he's not a PBC fighter. Now, who he chooses as his promotion, and that's on him. But he needs to take charge, take the lead and say, you know what, the hell with that. You remember how back in the day, it was always, you take care of the fights, we take care of the business side of things. We'll take care of that, you just focus on the fights. Larry Holmes was a dude like, nah, I take control of everything. I know everything that's going on. I need to know how much money is going on, how much I'll have a hand on everything. He broke that chain of, oh, you do this and I do this. You understand what I'm saying? That's why fighters ended up broke. They didn't have business sense. They didn't understand the business side of things. This right here, between Errol Spence and Terrence Crawford, it's about leverage. Because let's be real. If he intercepted that fight and said, nah, look, let's send it off for the Ugas. Imagine he beats Ugas. Now, they both have 2 belts. Now, what if after that, he's like, okay, we already got Errol Spence versus Shawn, right? Now, Errol Spence has that WBO. So, it would be a rematch for him and Errol Spence. But what if Ugas said, yo, I want that fight with, Crawford said, I want that fight with you. He gets that fight. Now, he has 3 belts and Errol has 2. Doesn't his bargaining chips look better now? You understand what I'm saying? As opposed to holding on to this 1 belt and waiting to see what happens. Waiting for something to happen. So when people say, well, you can't make these guys fight him. Well, hey, you want to know what? He also can't make anything change by doing the same things. That's what I mean with him. He has to step. The videos have nothing to do with who I think or who you think is a better fighter. That has nothing to do with it. The whole point is we want to see the fight. That's what we're trying to get to. So stop living in the past of what was said and who said what. My point of bringing it up was, look, y'all got to understand, they both had times where they could have fought each other. Both of them. Either way, it's the type of thing where, even when he was talking about fighting Keith Thurman, right? When he went and fought Kell Brook, he said, I want a champion. Well, then, there would be no reason to fight Ugas if that was the case. He was trying to fight Pacquiao. Let's not get it twisted. Errol Spence was trying to fight Pacquiao. Okay? All these guys keep going for the older guy. Why? Okay? I know why. But at the same time, if you want something, you go get it. Okay? It's a job. If you're at work, busting your ass, putting your time in, you know how to do this, you know how to do that, you pretty much got everything under cover. You don't even need supervision. You know what to do if something goes wrong. But yet, your manager, I say, man, I don't like to say that. I don't like the word boss. So your manager comes to you and say, hey, could you train this guy? So wait, I'm training this guy to be my supervisor. I'm training him to teach him what I already know. Hell no, I'm not doing that. Now, you can make some noise about it, and you can try to get the position yourself, or you can sit back and bitch about it, but do absolutely nothing but just talk and piss yourself off because nothing's changing. That's where Terrence Crawford is. He needs to step his game up, make some noise, and get them fights. Otherwise, he'll end up just like Gary Russell. All the talent in the world, but can't get the fights he wants. Now, the difference with Terrence Crawford and Gary Russell was in a division where there's really no big names, okay? Good fighters, but nobody with any names that can do anything to help his career, okay? Terrence Crawford has established fighters in his division, but he has to say, you know what? Since they don't want to come to me, I'm going to come to them. Now, like I said, PBC guys and LDBC guys are all trying to make it seem like Shawn Porter's chasing this guy. I ain't watched not one video, and I'm not going to. I saw the headlines, though. You know, oh, he's putting that pressure on Crawford. Yo, Crawford shook right now. Oh, Crawford's running all this. Don't be like them and start thinking as a fan and then making excuses. You got to go forward. Remember when Roy Jones fell off? Now, when he got knocked out by Tarver the first time, it was like, yo, okay, we seen Duran get his ass knocked out in 2 rounds by Hearns. Shit happens. But then when you saw him fight Glenn Johnson, you knew, yeah, Roy's done. He can't compete with the elite guys anymore. And what was he doing? Fighting nothing but C and D class fighters. The 2 biggest names he had on his resume after he fell off at that point was Felix Trinidad and Jeff Lacey. When I knew he was fighting Joe Calzaghe, I'm like, nah, he ain't gonna beat Calzaghe. Now, he dropped Calzaghe in the first or the second round. Everybody, oh, right? And then when Calzaghe got up, what did he do? Nothing. There was a point where Calzaghe was dropping his hands and was putting his face on Roy's gloves, and Roy just standing there covering up. Wasn't even throwing punches. I'm like, wow. But, you know, I could lie to myself and tell myself that Roy's still Roy. I could sit here and do all of it. No. He's done. Okay? He will never beat an elite fighter again, and he didn't. When Terrence Crawford had the situation with Keith Thurman, and then he decided he was going to fight Kell Brook. Even if he felt like Kell Brook has a name, if you've been watching Kell Brook, you knew Kell Brook wasn't the same fighter. I saw his last 3 fights prior to that, and I knew, like, nah, he's not the same fighter. My question was, what does he have left in the tank? Does he have that one big fight left in him? Because what I saw, I wasn't impressed by. So he knew to deal with that. That fight did nothing for his career. Amir Khan did nothing for his career. Who the hell is talking about those fights? Nobody. You think the people that you think the British fans didn't know? You hear a lot of the British fans was even saying, man, Kell Brook is damaged goods. And then other fans would jump in, oh man, why you disrespecting Kell? See, you thinking like a fan. People are being logical. They're being realistic. Like, no, this dude is done, man. Come on, man, stop. We saw what happened. Now, with Errol Spence fought him, he was still good. Now, as far as what Triple G did to his face, and, you know, okay, well, Errol Spence added to that. Wear and tear through the time. Guess what? Every fighter has wear and tear on that, you know, to some degree. Brook he's done. He's not an elite fighter anymore. It's simple as that. So that fight did nothing for him. Now, where does he go from here? And as I stated, Errol Spence was out for a whole year. So what was the rest of the division doing? That this guy comes back, no tune-up, goes straight to Danny Garcia, and people thought it was a mistake. You know how many people thought Errol Spence was going to lose because of the accident? They thought like his face wasn't going to hold up. He ain't no way he's going to be the same. You can go on my videos and look at the videos I did. You see, look at the comments. Ain't no way in hell he going to beat Danny Garcia. Hell no, nah, man. And this, like I always say, we shall see. Plain and simple. He beat him with no problem. He put a tweet out, Errol Spence, saying, I want nothing but the best fighters. And said, Lord knows I'll take your favorite fighter and use him as a tune-up, right? Or, you know, immediately, PBC guys, LDBC guys, they say he dissed Terrence Crawford. He played. First off, he didn't say anybody's name. I think that was just a general statement. Okay? He made Mikey Garcia look bad. Mikey Garcia had a lot of fans. People that was thinking, and I had a lot of people saying he was going to beat Errol Spence. He was a better boxer. He can do this. He can do that. And Errol Spence showed, no, I can outbox this guy. I just don't be using all my boxing skills. He showed that. And people still act like they, well, he wasn't a real, like, oh, now, first, he was going to win, but after he loses, well, he's not a real, you know, welterweight. Okay, whatever. Well, neither was Roberto Duran for that matter. But he came up and beat Sugar Ray Leonard, didn't he? So, you know, all these excuses. Terrence Crawford, no different. Came up from a lighter weight. So what? Big deal. Adrian Broner came up. Floyd came up. Pacquiao came up. So why is it different for Mikey? Okay. And pretty much what ends up happening now is they're trying to make it like Crawford he don't want the smoke. But we know Crawford want the fight. I don't think Crawford's scared of Errol Spence. I don't think Errol Spence is scared of Crawford. I do believe he's ignoring him. It's a leverage thing. It's an ego thing. I've stated that. So let's not, I've stated that. And he clearly is not trying to fight Terrence Crawford right now. So that's not even a debate. The point, what I think a lot of people are missing, okay, is what do you do now? If you lose your fucking job, do you sit up and bitch about it? Or do you say, all right, you know what? Let me get back on my feet. I got to start looking for another job. Or do you sit up and call everybody and bitch about what just happened, how they did this and how wrong they were? Do you take every action that's going to do nothing but just be a conversation? Or do you take action that's going to change the situation where you get your job back or you get another job? Y'all know what I'm saying. That's where Terrence Crawford is in this whole situation. He needs to keep it moving. Because for this man, he had his title. He came back, got a title, another title. If he gets this fight with Ugas, that's 3 titles. How in the hell do you think Terrence Crawford is going to sit there talking about, I want 50-50? He ain't getting no 50-50. This is what I'm saying. It's about leverage. He has to use his head and make wiser decisions for himself. His team ain't shit. Y'all already heard Bob Arum say, I'm losing money on this guy, Terrence Crawford. And then they had that big blog. He said, if you think he's losing money on me, I ain't worth the money, then let me go there. What did he say? I don't care. Bob Arum, you think Bob Arum was just saying that because he was upset? He said, no, I don't care. Don't come asking me for nothing. We're done. Okay? And then we had this big thing about this conversation, this debate about where Terrence Crawford was going to go. Bottom line is this. Nobody's going to take care of you better than you're going to take care of yourself. So if he don't step his game up in demand, put himself in demand, same thing's going to keep happening. Gary Russell, who the hell talks about Gary Russell? You ask people who's the longest reigning champion in boxing right now, they're like, huh? They don't even think about Gary Russell. Oh, yeah, I forgot about him. He's still a champ. Look at the talent that he has. He got more recognition by telling the world he punched Terrence Crawford in the face and Terrence Crawford didn't do anything. And calling out all these names, Shakur Stevenson, and everybody's a coward. Everybody's ducking him. All of them scared of him, all this and that. Devin Haney sends the contract, him and Bill Haney, they send the contract over, send the term sheet over, give him everything he want. And Bill Haney was on, did the little FaceTime thing, whatever, but he was on the phone. He plain and simple, gave you everything you wanted. And what's the problem? Look at the term sheet, but the term sheet was, he said, okay, you know what, after you send the term sheet to us. How about that? You send the terms to us. And it made Gary Russell look stupid because he made all that noise and basically it's like, it's just nowhere. I mean, so all of that just to get no fight to happen. So what I'm saying, forget all this, oh man, but this guy did this. I made the 2 videos, like I said, for 2 separate reasons, but for the same reason. And at the same time, people forget. And I do this I make these videos. I do my homework before I put the videos out. Like I said, they both chose different paths when they had certain fights that they could have made. So if, regardless to who's sending what to who, if Shawn Porter, if they're really trying to get this fight with Terrence Crawford, he needs a Shawn Porter on his resume. Hell, he needs a Danny Garcia on his resume. He needs somebody on his resume other than who he has right now. And pretty much, Spence is being pushed in the spotlight, and he's not. He's still sitting in the back just waiting to see what's going to happen. And time is just going to pass him by. And this is what fans don't understand. Getting in your feelings and trying to explain he's a better fighter. What does that have to do with anything? That has nothing to do with the fight being made. Pacquiao was trying to get 50-50. He gets knocked out by remember something, okay? Remember there was a time Pacquiao wouldn't even say Floyd Mayweather's name. And when they would ask him about the fight, well, I get to this matters in training, isn't this how right? They always ask Floyd something when he had a fight coming up. And he's like, well, we're not here to talk about Manny Pacquiao. Right now, I got, Victor Ortiz in front of me, and this is what I'm focused on. If you're not going to fight the guy, don't talk about him. Now, Errol Spence is not talking about Crawford. The fans are. The people are. So let's not mix up our words with what he's saying. I would rather he don't say nothing about Terrence Crawford if he's not going to fight him. than to call his name out, talk a bunch of nonsense, and like him bring but then won't fight him. This is everybody else because we want the fight, and it's like, what's the reason for you not fighting this guy? There's no reason for you to not fight Terrence Crawford. So at the end of the day, if they feel like this is the money fight and they trying to build up to it, okay, it's one thing. And like, you know, for me, I don't lose sleep over none of this. But at the end of the day, Terrence Crawford has to do what other people won't do. And if your promotional team suck and you stick with them, what's going to change? So basically, that's where I'm at with that. Okay, on to something else that was said, but it was completely wrong. Someone made a comment saying that, because Dillian Whyte did an interview, and he was, you know, calling AJ a punk and all this, and saying AJ's scared of him and all this, and it's just crazy, right? First off, let's just bring something to the table that people definitely forgot about or never knew. When Dillian Whyte fought Derek Chisora, the agreement was that the winner would fight AJ. Okay? They sent Dillian Whyte an offer. And I don't remember what the number was, but several people say it was like $5 million. This guy decides this is a lowball offer. They playing games with me. He went a different route. The offer was sent. Dillian Whyte is not a big star. He may think he is. I really think in his mind he felt like because he was fighting and he has probably the second best resume in the heavyweight division right now. He thought he was as big a star as Joshua, and he's not. When AJ made his way to the ring to congratulate him and tell him that they're gonna get it on, they asked him, who does he want to fight next? I want to fight this linky piece of shit right here, right? So it's like, what the fuck? So he's making waves and he's saying all this, and I believe that's a lot of the reason why he was getting smacked around like that. Because, like, as far as them low, and I don't think it's right that he was the #1 contender and they kept screwing him over and all that, but he did it to himself. Let's just be real. The shot was there. You think he got $5 million fighting Oscar Rivas? You think he got $5 million fighting these other guys that he fought? He had a couple lackluster performances too. And Dillian Whyte is a solid fighter. They both improved, him and AJ. Now, me personally, I think AJ knocked him out again. And pretty much, I've always said he sounds like he's bitter towards AJ and jealous, because he always, like, 1 minute he'll say, like, AJ, he'll talk about, we have a mutual respect, but we're not friends, but we have a mutual respect. But then he's calling him a punk. He don't know, he's scared to fight, he's scared to take a punch, all this. And it's like, okay, that could be his opinion or whatever, but like, why does he feel the need to always say stuff like that? But then the same guy that just knocked you out, AJ knocked him out. AJ knocked you out. And even though they both got better, I think AJ knocks him out again. Now, we'll see. Maybe we'll see. In the meantime, they both got a loss, right? But AJ got his belts back, so he's a 2-time unified champ. You're trying to get yours back. Okay, so the offer was there. It wasn't no, oh, he low, but no. It wasn't no, oh, he ducked Dillian Whyte. No. The offer was there, and he turned the offer down. And that pissed Eddie Hearn and AJ off. Now, he did that to himself. So for the Dillian Whyte fans that saying, oh, he ran, no, that's bullshit. And you guys are wrong and you don't know what you're talking about. Okay, what I'm saying is not my goddamn opinion. This is facts. They sent him an offer. He said they're playing games, and he basically turned down that $5 million. If that's what it was, he turned that shit down. That's the number that I heard. Even back then, that was like $5 million. He turned it down. And like I said, I know damn well nobody's paying him no $5 million to go fight against Oscar Rivas. Oscar Rivas is a good fighter, but he's a decent fighter, but he's no big name. People barely even know who Oscar Rivas is. Any of those guys that he was fighting. The most known guy that he did fight was Derek Chisora and then Povetkin. Aside from AJ. So it's like, people, this is what I mean, how people like to get together and say things, but they don't really know what they're talking about, because they're cheering, they're speaking on behalf of the fighter that they like the most. We can go back to like Aaron Pryor versus Sugar Ray Leonard. And you had people saying, oh, man, he ducked Ray Leonard. He ducked Ray Leonard ducked Aaron Pryor. He should have gave him the shot, and okay, but he didn't. And to this day, people celebrating on Ray Leonard's name. They talking about Ray Leonard. Nobody's talking about Aaron Pryor. To this very day, right now, nobody's talking about Aaron Pryor. Now, if his name comes up and you remember who he is or know or saw a video, you know, oh yeah, he wasn't no joke. But at the same time, he beat Thomas Hearns in the amateurs, right? But he always would bring that up. I beat Hearns, you know, I beat O'Gwell. Yeah, okay, but you also beat him as an amateur. Why didn't you rematch Hearns in the pros? You understand? There's always something somebody can throw at a person. But that's the point what I'm saying. What does it solve? Nothing. Now, he didn't get the fight. He didn't get it. But what did he do for himself? What did his team do for him? Yeah, but nobody wanted to fight. Man, listen, stop that shit, man. You got to find a way to put yourself in demand. Why the hell y'all think Shannon Briggs walked around here? Let's go, champ. Let's go, champ. He was hoping that shit would catch on. And then people would start saying, let's go, champ. And he started to get more recognition. And it worked to a degree. It worked to a degree. Because remember, he was supposed to fight David Haye. David Haye said, I'm going to fight on my undercard. You win, then I'll fight you. Then we heard something about they offered Shannon Briggs $10 million and he turned the money down, which really made no sense to me. And I'm like, that's hard to believe, man. But whatever. They both had their stories. The fight never happened. Like I said, Demetrius, Andre, and Shawn is back and forth with the insults and tough talking each other, but where's the fight? It's not there. Now, guess who gets the fight with Canelo? So, Demetrius, Andre, all these fighters who are solid fighters but not getting the fights that they want, if you sit back and do nothing, what can you complain about? And then when you go out and fight, you got to look good in your fights. Not go out there and have a half-assed performance and then, start talking about how nobody don't want to fight you. But, yeah, bro, it's a business. And it's what I'm saying. You got to learn what this tug of war is. You got to learn when you pull. They say you have to learn that. And anybody who don't understand the business side of things is always going to overlook that kind of stuff. They think you just say, oh, I want to fight you. You want to fight? Okay, cool. Let's fight. All right, what day? What's good for you? No. It's a process. And all that, I said this. You heard me. Okay, right. It's no different from, a lot of that shit is just like this, right? A guy saying some shit to a guy, he like, yeah, whatever, all right. Then once people separate them and get, oh, now he's jumping like he wants. Where was all that energy when it was just you and him? So, you understand what I'm saying? All this bravado stuff, and I said this and that don't matter. Start sending contracts. Make it known. Let the public see what's going on. Why do you think Bill Haney went on that show with the term sheet, showed it, and was talking to this guy? So, no, you're not going to come up here and tell everybody we ducking you and all this bullshit. Now, Aki, yeah, he was unprofessional. Clearly was on the side of Devin and Bill. Like, it was that was like one of the worst things I ever saw. But to get the information is why I watched it. So forget Aki and what he said and did. Bill Haney has the term sheet. He's showing it. And like, this is the same term sheet. Is this not the same term sheet I sent you? But if you look at he couldn't even answer the damn questions. He just kept saying the same thing, the term sheet, and then Bill tells him, you sent us a term sheet. How about that? You sent us the term sheet then. Everything you asked for, and he said it to him. He didn't have to say it on a separate interview, and no, he said it to him. And the only thing he was talking about was, it didn't say the zone. And then guess what? He's showing it. The zone is right there. What you talking about? So that was all shut down. Now, Gary Russell is back to being Gary Russell. Nobody talks about all the talent in the world, but can't get the fights that he wants. Now, that could have been him versus Devin Haney instead of Gamboa. But people forget that. So when they're like, oh, this guy fighting Gamboa, Devin Haney's still on the come up too. Understand that. And Devin Haney wanted that fight with Gary Russell. They sent him what he wanted. Now, is what I'm saying. What I say, documentation beats conversation. And he showed that. So Gary Russell had no argument after that. No matter what he said, everybody saw that. So even if you was pulling for Gary Russell, the truth was thrown in your face, man. So now we have people that's like, but yo, the PBC is, yeah, okay. Boxing is a dirty business. It always has been. Everybody knows that. Most business is dirty, especially when it makes a lot of money. Your employer, how many of us think our employer care about us? I'll guarantee you 99.9% of us were the naive people, whatever. I guarantee the majority of us feel like we have that understanding. All your management team want from you, all your manager, whoever, all they care about is what you can do for them. Look, you're not special to them. Even the ones you get along with. And especially a guy like me, I'm laid back, I'm quiet. So when I'm working, all I need to know is what I'm doing. Let me know, then get the hell out of my way. I'll see you at the end of the shift. I don't even want to see you to the end of the shift. Let me go do my job. I'm not antisocial, but I don't do gossip and rumors. And I'm not phony. You know what I'm saying? So you got other people that's more, hey, how are you? Oh, love your hair. Me, I'm that person coming in the room go, good morning. What are we doing today? Where am I stationed? Thank you. Have a good day. And I go. That's it. I'm polite, and that's it. I don't carry conversation. For the people that I do talk with, we just kick it. We chop it up. We have a good time. We're not talking about work. We ain't talking about Donald Trump. We ain't talking about who we hate. Oh, this, all, none of that. I don't want to be somewhere for 8 goddamn hours and hear a bunch of grumpy ass people making me wish I wasn't there, which is what they do to themselves. You understand what I'm saying? So nobody, who really feels like, oh, I'm really appreciated. They really care about me here. They need me. No, they don't need you. They'll replace you with a crackhead, man. So when you find yourself in a position where things are not working the way you want it to, you find a way to make it work. You do at least make the effort. That's what I'm saying. At least make the effort. Don't sit back and, man, this motherfucker, man, they gonna make him supervise over me, and he don't even know the job, and they asking me to train. I'm not training somebody to say, oh, I'm gonna train you on how to supervise me. I know the job and you don't. But you're taking my position, or a position that I should know. So you do something about it, or do you sit back like a sucker and just let people just walk all over you? It's what I'm saying. And for anybody who's in that position. But we know that these guys are not breaking their neck to fight Terrence Crawford. So I hope that it's true. Forget all of the bias that the LDBC or these PBC guys are trying to put with Shawn Porter to make it like he's, because that's what they're trying to do, make it like he's chasing Terrence Crawford, okay? I hope that it's true that Shawn Porter's trying to fight him, because he needs this fight. This is a good fight to see, and we need to see this fight. And he needs this fight on. He needs to beat a Shawn Porter. He needs that on his resume. So that needs to happen, regardless. But it also looks better if Terrence Crawford is the one leading the charge, because he's showing you, no, I'm making effort to fight these guys. I'm sending contracts. Forget talking. Forget sitting up here on videos talking about, man, they don't want it with me. They scared of me. No, I'm making effort. Let's fight. I want to fight you. We're sending you an offer. We're sending you a contract and a term sheet. Let's fight. Simple. Now, the other thing. Wait, pause. Other thing I want to talk about. Tyson Fury. Okay. He's been making a lot of noise like he always does. AJ's a bum. This is going to be the easiest fight. It's going to be easier than Deontay Wilder fight. It's going to be the easiest fight of my career. Blah, 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 blah. Tyson Fury, you can fight. You're a good fighter. We all know that. But you talk too much. He's doing all of this talking, right? All I want to know, are y'all going to fight? Are you going to actually sign a contract and get in the ring with AJ? Or are you going to keep telling us how you can beat him, how easy it's going to be for you to beat him? And also, let me say this. That style that he fought against Deontay Wilder, walking him down, he was able to do that because Deontay can't fight backing up, and he had no resistance to keep him off of him. Too big, and Deontay doesn't have a good ring IQ, so he didn't know what else to do. He couldn't do anything other than what he did. And he's always walked in straight back of the line. When he fought Bernas DeVerne, he backed up the whole night, the first time. And he was doing the same thing, walking in a straight line, straight back, just like walking around the damn ring backwards, you know. That style won't work against AJ, in my opinion. AJ has a tight defense. AJ stays, you know, AJ is different. So anybody who's buying into this, thinking there's going to be this, oh, talking about because Fury said it like it's true. Oh, yo, man, when Fury says something, he do it. Yeah. But he's been wrong as fuck with his predictions of who was going to win the fight. And again, like I said, Deontay Wilder and AJ are completely different. First off, we know when AJ's coming forward throwing them bombs, he's dangerous. Now AJ knows he can fight on the back foot if he needs to as well. He mix it up right and do what he needs to do to win. My thing is, everybody keeps talking like AJ's here and Tyson Fury's here. Okay? Notice you can't see my right hand. That's how they trying to make it. And it's like, y'all can believe whatever y'all want, and that's fine. Your opinion is your opinion. It's the way I see it. I think AJ beats Tyson Fury. Let's see what happens. I'm not afraid to be wrong. I'm not making a prediction as a fan, because I'm nobody's fan. And I'm not making a prediction. This is not based on what now, I want AJ to win. Whoever AJ fight, I want AJ to win. But if I didn't feel what I'm saying, if I didn't believe it, I wouldn't say it. I believe he beats Tyson Fury. Oh, even Mike Tyson said, oh, he got to fix his flaw. First of all, so what? What, is Mike Tyson fucking God? Mike Tyson said, okay, so what? Mike Tyson said a whole lot of shit. You understand what I'm saying? He has the right to his opinion. But look, at the same time, Tyson Fury don't have flaws. There's nothing Tyson Fury has to do different. He can just do it. They make it like he can just walk in there and just put his hands behind his back, hold one leg up, do whatever, and he just gonna beat AJ. Like AJ is just, it's nothing he can do to win. No. People saying the most that I'll agree with is people saying it's a 50-50 fight. But all that, he's gonna knock AJ out in 2 rounds. Yo, I believe AJ. I don't think AJ can hang with him. Yo, I think that AJ. You guys are being influenced by what's being said. That's fine. That's your business. But guarantee this, right? He will not be able to walk down AJ. Then he told some lies. He said, now he's bigger, physically heavier. Yeah, that's true. He said he's stronger. That's bullshit. He said he punches harder. That's bullshit. He said he's a better boxer. Maybe, maybe not. That's debatable. Even though I like AJ, I like AJ's better. I like what he brings to the table better. But that's debatable. But he's definitely not stronger. He definitely don't hit harder. And he's not faster than AJ. He's more elusive with all that twisting and turning, how you know, but that style is not going to work on AJ. Now, I know what I think Tyson Fury should do to have a better chance of beating AJ, which I'm not going to get into. But as far as how he walked down, maybe he's trying to get in AJ's head. He said he's stronger than AJ mentally as well and emotionally, right? That's what he said, all this stuff. Bro, we saw Otto Wallin give you an ass kicking. Now, you was kicking his ass back, but he was kicking your ass. And actually, a lot of people thought Otto Wallin won that fight. Now, I like Tyson Fury as a fighter, but let's be realistic, okay? Did you just have a bad night? Or was Otto Wallin better than what you thought? Then he's like, if it wasn't for the cut. Yeah, he punched you in your face. That's why you got cut. You didn't come to the ring bleeding. You know what I'm saying? You got punched in your face. That's why you were bleeding. That's why you got cut. So when you look at all of that, and you want to say that people that's repeating what Tyson Fury's, saying that he's going to knock AJ out, well, we'll see. I don't even care about all that talk. That's, again, why I respect AJ so much, man, because AJ don't need to do that. He don't care about all that. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. I'm going to knock him out. He ain't on my level, man. Fuck that shit, man. I'll do this. He don't have to do all that. He don't have to do all that. Now, Tyson Fury saying all this, but I don't even care about the he said, she said. But it would be more interesting if you just signed the contract. They're working out the details, trying to get everything cool. But until that happens, man, I don't even care what all that, what he said, like it means something. Right now, that's the biggest fight in boxing. Errol Spence and Terrence Crawford, you can say maybe a second, or just, yeah, no, let's just say most anticipated. Let's put it to you like that. Those are the two big, that's the biggest fight. To me, those are the two biggest fights, to me. You know, now, you still got Canelo versus, like, I think him and Charlo. That's the fight everybody want to see. That's the person everybody want to see Canelo fight next. They want them two to fight each other. So those are three huge fights. And at the end of the day, I just want to see the fights. Doesn't matter who I want to win. I just want the fights to happen. So moving forward, and as far as us, you know, making videos and putting the news out, I don't want to do videos where I'm just talking about what somebody said, because that's not making the fight happen. That's just gossip, and that's corny to me. So that's why I don't do that. You know, I have no interest in doing that. But my thing about what Tyson Fury's saying about Anthony Joshua, and he's going to do this, right? This is part of what I'm saying. While he's doing all this talking, we just keep seeing videos of AJ either training or doing something on a positive note, but he's not walking around bashing his opponent and talking trash, wasting energy on nothing. So when the contracts is signed, that's when we can start to get excited about the fights. Until then, all of this talking, I said this to him and he didn't want it. He said this and then I said that, and then I said, and then he said, and I was like, yo, what's up then? So what you want to do? What you want? That's petty 8th grade schoolyard shit, and that doesn't mean nothing. So it does not matter who you think is a better fighter. Who you think is going to win the fight, and all who you think is ducking, or that is not what these videos were about. And that's not what this one is about. It's about what needs to be done. Because if we're going to sit here and keep going back to videos that was put up 3 years ago, and this person's, we all know what happened. That's the whole point of what I'm saying. But are we stuck on that, or are we going to move forward? You understand what I'm saying? That's how you get what you want. Oh, y'all don't want to put me in the mix and be fair? Okay, cool. Now I'm taking what I want. And I'm on your ass, and everything that I do, I'm a documented video-wise and everything so the world can see. Because like I said, if you sitting there coming at guys like, I want to fight you next. Do you hear me? This is, and you're, first off, you get together with your team, and that's what y'all want to do. Your people contact his people, and you contact that person. What can they possibly say that's not going to make them look stupid for not accepting the fights that they should be accepting? Nobody wants to see this nonsense. You see the difference? Like, example, right? Andre Ward said he don't expect Canelo to fight tough fight after tough fight after tough fight. Everybody takes a tough fight, then an easy fight, right? That's what he said. Look at what they're talking about with Caleb Plant, though. Yeah, but the difference is Caleb ain't fighting nobody yet. Caleb, this is just his 21st fight, right? He's up and coming. So his first big step-up fight, really, I mean, as like with an elite guy, a guy like Canelo, that's a huge step. Canelo didn't just jump to Floyd. No, he had like Austin Trout first, and you know, he had different guys before he got to Floyd. You understand what I'm saying? He didn't just jump in there with Floyd first. But at the same time, it's one of these situations right now where every other fighter is expected to fight hard fight. But then you got a guy like Andre Ward says Canelo don't have no, you know, he just fought, you know, Callum Smith. Yeah, but he ain't take no punishment in that fight. It was a walk-through, one-sided ass kicking. So he ain't take no punishment. Now, I understand he's fighting this mandatory. Yeah, okay, it is what it is. And all right, whatever. Fight your mandatory. It's just the way this guy became a mandatory and all this, it was whack. But fight your mandatory. But after that mandatory, it's Billy Joe Saunders. So Canelo is fighting dudes. All right, he is fighting dudes. But all these other guys, the same thing. We need to see these guys all fight each other, not just depend on one person to try to fight everybody. And if this dude, now my thing is, and this is why Canelo don't get that free pass in my opinion. You decided you wanted to be, you accepted that offer to be franchise champion, which gives you the right to go from whatever division and choose. Now remember what Mauricio Silverman said, he can choose whatever champion he wants to fight. So at the same time, I guess his mandatories will be his way of getting a soft touch. I don't like the franchise champion thing, but it is what it is. So, you know, this is where we are. It's all about going forward, not going backwards, not digging up the past. It's not going to change anything. What do we do now? So hopefully, you know, these guys, especially Terrence Crawford, can strategize and get things where he can start putting stuff together where he puts himself in demand with people like, yo, Spence, y'all are equals, man. You need to just, yo, let's make the fight need to happen. Okay? But you can't stand here with one belt and the motherfucker got 3 and you talking about 50-50. That bullshit ain't happening. Now that I heard from the fans. I don't know, I didn't hear him say that. But the fans is, oh man, just make it 50-50. No, you're not going to get that. You're not going to get that. Not with no one goddamn belt. You haven't done enough at 147 for anybody to just give you that. And the team, he need to get a different team, man. Terrence Crawford need to get a different team around him. He need to get with some guys that's going to make sure that he get what he needs, man. Where does he go? Who he get that from? He has to figure that out. But anyway, Terrence Crawford, Errol Spence, if y'all do fight, may the best man win. Plain and simple. You know, and I would rather see that. And here, I'm saying this again, so nobody don't see. I don't know, some of y'all watch the video and still wind up saying something where I'm like, I don't think y'all understand what I'm saying. Errol Spence and Crawford, I like both of these guys as fighters. Errol Spence is a guy, whoever he fights, I want Spence to win. Against Crawford, it's like, damn. So I'm like, you know what, may the best man win. Because it's kind of like, you know, it's one of them things. But I'm saying it one more time for everybody to hear. Errol Spence is on his ego shit right now. Like, I don't really need you, you need me. He's not making any effort to fight Terrence Crawford. That's nothing new. All right, so when y'all make y'all comments, y'all understand where I'm at. Because I don't understand. A lot of times y'all make comments. It's like, did you watch the video and listen? Or was you like, none of these guys, from what I'm seeing, is making an effort to fight Terrence Crawford. But Terrence Crawford is not making an effort to make noise and promote himself and do a better job than what his promotional team is doing. And like I said, until he walks away from that team, he's just going to be going through the same thing. Before you know it, he's not the same fighter. Remember, he's a little older than him. He's like 33, 34. Spence is what, 30? So he needs to be on the ball, all right? The weight is on his shoulders because he's the one being avoided. Simple as that. So, you know, I don't care all that boogeyman shit. So even when I was saying, that's why everybody was calling Spence the boogeyman, but don't get it twisted. Yes, Spence was calling everybody out, and none of them dudes wanted no smoke with Spence. Now the tables have turned. It's as simple as that. I don't call nobody no fucking boogeyman. That's the name that everybody else says, yo, don't nobody want me with Spence, man. They don't want it. They said the same thing about Terrence Crawford. Then they start saying Terrence Crawford ain't fighting nobody. Terrence Crawford, he choosing bums. Again, he has to make wiser decisions for himself. Otherwise, he can't complain about the direction his career is going. Because at the end of the damn day, like I said, nobody's going to look out for you like you are. And if you know you got a crappy team, if my promoter can sit up there and tell people, I'm losing money with this guy, I'm not wasting any more money on this guy. Are you serious? Nobody had to tell Crawford. You don't think Crawford knew that he said that? You don't think they have conversations? You don't think that he knew about that? So to say, if you think I'm not worth it, then let me go. And he said, I don't need you. He let him go. I don't care. Don't call me for nothing. We're done. Move on. It might be the best thing for you. Because I can say this, Bob Arum ain't going to do nothing for Terrence Crawford that he ain't already done. And I think he stays with Bob Arum. He stays in the position he's in. He's not going to get what he needs. So that's up to him to make those moves. Anyway, that's all I'm going to say in this video. Never fall in love with lies. Remember, the truth brings hate out of people. And I will catch y'all on the next one.